Welcome to our deep dive. You know, when you sent me this YouTube video, Stop Listening to Your Own Mind and See What Happens to Your Reality from the Transcend channel, it really got me thinking.
It's a pretty wild concept, right? Like our minds shaping our reality. That's some deep stuff.
Yeah, and the video even says that like 95% of what we do every day is practically on autopilot, driven by our subconscious. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It's like, do we even have free will? Or is it all just pre-programmed responses?
Right. It makes you question everything. And it gets even more interesting when they start talking about how all that subconscious programming gets set up in the first place.
Oh, yeah. Early programming. That's huge.
Yeah.
Like they say in the video, so much of our thinking isn't even original. It's downloaded from our childhood.
Totally. From our parents, society, all that. It's like there's this line that just stuck with me. It says, until the age of 7, the brain operates in a state of hypnosis, absorbing everything around it without question.
Wow, yeah, that's powerful. It's like we're just sponges soaking up all these beliefs and values before we can even think for ourselves.
And it makes you wonder, like, if all that gets locked in so early, are we just walking around with all this baggage from our...
Oh, absolutely, and not even realizing it.
Right.
Like, think about it. How many of the beliefs we hold so dear today are really ours, or are they just echoes of our upbringing?
It's a little scary when you think about it. Like, what if some of our biggest fears or insecurity rooted in experiences we barely even remember?
It's possible. And that's why this whole idea of subconscious sabotage is so important. Like the video talks about how those early experiences, especially the negative one, can get really stuck in our subconscious.
Yeah, and then they can play out in our lives without us even knowing why.
Exactly. It's like setting ourselves up for failure before we even begin.
They use that example of the I am not good enough statement becoming like an automatic.
Oh yeah, that one hit home. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
For sure. And it's not just a feeling. It can really impact how we work.
Absolutely. Like if you believe you're not good enough, you might not even see opportunities that are right in front of you.
You might even sabotage yourself without realizing it.
Exactly. Like your subconscious is whispering, you don't deserve this, and you just accept it as truth.
Okay, now here's where the video took a turn that I did not see coming. Quantum physics.
Oh yeah, the mind-blowing part.
Right. They start talking about the observer effect and the double slit experiment. Like, can our thoughts actually influence reality on a quantum level?
That's the big question, isn't it? And to be honest, the connection between quantum physics and our everyday lives is still a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, but the idea that our thoughts could be shaping reality is pretty wild.
It is. And the double slit experiment, it basically shows that subatomic particles behave differently depending on whether they're being observed.
So it's like the act of observing something actually changes it.
Exactly, which is pretty mind-boggling when you think about it. And it leads to the question, what if our consciousness, our act of observing, plays a role in collapsing those possibilities into the reality we experience?
Whoa, okay, so if I'm constantly focusing on what's going wrong in my life, am I somehow attracting more negativity?
It's a possibility, right? Like think about it. There's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, or RAS.
Yeah.
And it acts like a filter for all the information coming at us.
Yeah.
It prioritizes what we focus on.
So if we're constantly tuned into negativity, our RAS is going to make sure we see more of it.
Exactly. Like it's confirmation bias, but on a whole other level.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If we want to change our reality, we need to change what we're focusing on.
That's the idea. And that brings us to another crucial point. The video really emphasizes that it's not enough to just think positive.
We have to feel it too.
Right, exactly. There's that great quote from Neville Goddard, you do not attract what you desire, but what you believe to be true.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. So it's not enough to just say affirmations. We have to actually believe them.
Exactly. Like think about it. Saying affirmations without feeling them. It's like trying to start a car with no fuel. Yeah. You're not going anywhere.
You're just making noise.
Exactly. To really manifest what we want, there needs to be that alignment of thought and emotion.
Like a genuine belief in our hearts.
Exactly.
But the video also talks about mental noise being this huge obstacle. Like all those thoughts just swirling around in our heads. It's like they compared it to a radio with static everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's a great analogy because it's true. Our minds are constantly bombarded with thoughts and it can be really hard to focus on the ones that matter.
So how do we cut through all that static?
Well, that's what we're going to dive into next time.
So last time we were talking about all this mental noise, right? Like how to cut through the static.
Yeah, it's a big challenge, isn't it? Like quieting that inner chatter and actually tapping into this power we're talking.
Right, because it all sounds great in theory, but like how do we actually make it work in real life?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the video does offer some suggestions.
Okay, so like what kind of magic tricks are they talking about?
Well, not exactly magic tricks, more like practical techniques we can use to start shifting our reality. But, it emphasizes that this isn't a quick fix.
No overnight transformations.
I'm afraid not. It's more like training for a marathon. You know, you don't expect to run 26 miles on day one.
Right. Got to start slow.
Exactly. It's the same with our minds. We need to practice consistently building up those mental muscles over time.
That makes sense. So where do we even begin? Like, what are some of these mental workouts we can start doing?
Well, one of the most powerful techniques they talk about is mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Okay, I've heard that word thrown around a lot lately. But like, what does it actually mean?
Yeah, it's become a bit of a buzzword, but there's real power in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about sitting cross-legged and chanting though that can be helpful.
Right. So it's not just some woo-woo spiritual thing.
Exactly. It's more about cultivating this state of awareness of our thoughts and feelings, you know, without judgment.
So it's like observing our thoughts instead of getting swept away by them.
Exactly. Like imagine your mind is a busy highway. Instead of being stuck in traffic, mindfulness allows you to stand on the side of the road and observe the flow of cars, you know, without jumping into one.
So you're like the witness, not the participant.
Precisely. And that creates this space between you and those thoughts.
I can see how that would be helpful. Like it gives you some breathing room.
Exactly. And that space is crucial because it allows you to choose which thoughts to engage with and which to let go of. You're not just reacting automatically.
It's like you're taking back control of the radio dial, right? Instead of letting the static dictate the tune, you become the DJ.
I love that analogy because that's exactly what it's like. And as you practice mindfulness, you weaken those negative thought pathways and create space for more positive ones to emerge.
So it's like rewiring your brain.
Exactly. And the video also talks about the power of visualization.
Visualization. Okay, I'll be honest. I've always struggled with that. It feels a little like wishful thinking, you know?
I get it. It can feel a little out there, but it's more than just daydreaming. It's about creating a clear, vivid mental picture of your desired outcome, you know, engaging all your senses to make it as real as possible in your mind.
So it's like creating a movie in your head.
Exactly. And by immersing yourself in that visualization, feeling the emotions associated with it, you're sending a powerful signal to the universe.
So it's like you're aligning your energy with your desire.
Precisely. And that's where the magic happens.
Okay, but I think a lot of people struggle with actually believing that they can change their reality. It can feel like a huge leap of faith.
You're right. It's not always easy. But that's why the video emphasizes the importance of cultivating faith and beliefs. And it doesn't have to be blind faith, you know? It can start with small steps.
So like baby steps towards a bigger goal?
Exactly. Like instead of trying to manifest $1 million overnight, start with something smaller, something more attainable.
So like a parking space?
Exactly. Pick one area of your life where you want to see change and focus your energy on that. Visualize it, feel it. And most importantly, believe it's possible.
Okay, I can get behind that. It's like planting a seed and having faith that it will eventually grow.
Beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
And as you see those small changes manifest, your belief grows and you become more confident in your ability to create bigger changes.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly. Success breeds success.
So we've got mindfulness, visualization, belief. What other tools do we have in this manifestation toolbox?
Well, the video also talks about gratitude.
Gratitude. Okay, I know we're supposed to be grateful, but like, how does that actually help with manifesting things?
Well, it's not just about saying thank you. It's about cultivating a deep, genuine appreciation for the good things in your life, even the small ones.
Yeah. I'll admit I can get so caught up in what's going wrong that I forget to appreciate what's going right.
That's the negativity bias at work. But by shifting your focus to gratitude, you raise your vibration, you know, literally attracting more positivity into your experience.
So it's not about denying the negative. It's about amplifying the positive.
Exactly. And the more you practice gratitude, the more your brain becomes wired to seek out and appreciate the good. It's like training your mind to see the world through rose-colored glass.
Okay, but I think some people might hear this and think, so all I need to do is sit around visualizing, feeling grateful, and like things will magically fall into place. But it's not quite that passive, is it?
You hit the nail on the head. The video is very clear that while our thoughts and beliefs are powerful, they need to be coupled with inspired action.
So it's not enough to just dream it. You got to do it.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with your intention.
So like if you're visualizing a new career, you also need to be updating your resume networking, putting yourself out.
Exactly. It's about taking those steps, even if they're small or uncertain.
So it's like you're co-creating with the universe. You set the intention, you align your energy, and then you take the steps to make it happen.
Beautifully put. And as you take those steps, you build momentum. You're showing the universe that you're serious about this, and it responds by opening doors and creating opportunities.
So it's this delicate dance between the inner work and the outer action.
Exactly. You got to have both.
We need the right mindset, but we also need to put in the effort.
It's about finding that sweet spot between being and doing, between the inner world of thoughts and beliefs and the outer world of tangible action.
And the more we practice this dance, the better we get at it.
Exactly. It's like any skill. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes.
So it's about recognizing that we're not just victims of circumstance. We have the power to create our own reality.
Exactly. And that's an incredibly empowering realization.
So we've talked about a lot in this deep dive. It's like our minds are so powerful, but sometimes it feels like they're working against us.
Yeah, it's like we have all this potential, but then there's all this baggage and mental noise holding us back.
Exactly. So how do we actually put all this into practice? Like when we're dealing with real life and all its distractions.
That's the big question, right? It's one thing to understand these concepts, but actually living them, that's a whole other challenge.
Right. Because it can feel pretty overwhelming. Like, where do we even start?
Well, the key is to approach it like any skill development, with patience, consistency, and a willingness to experiment.
So it's like learning a new instrument or a new language.
Exactly. You don't expect to become fluent overnight.
Yeah.
You've got to start with the basics and gradually build up your skills.
Right. So like, what are some of the basics when it comes to manifesting our desires?
Well, the video talks about journaling as a really helpful tool.
Journaling. Okay, I've heard of that. But how does that help with all this mind stuff?
Well, it helps you become aware of your thought patterns.
Yeah.
It's like shining a light on all that mental clutter.
So you can see what's actually going on in your head.
Exactly. And once you see it, you can start to challenge those negative thoughts and beliefs that might be holding you back.
It's like taking inventory of your mental baggage and deciding what to keep and what to toss.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you can start replacing those negative thoughts with more positive.
So it's like rewiring your brain for success.
Exactly. And the video also talks about meditation as another powerful tool.
Meditation. Okay. I'll admit, I used to be pretty skeptical about that. Like, I thought it was just for hippies or something.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, but it's actually a lot more accessible than you might think. It doesn't have to be some big elaborate ritual.
So like, what does it actually involve?
Well, basically it's about finding a comfortable position, closing your eyes and focusing on your breath, just observing your thoughts and letting them pass without judgment.
So it's like another way to quiet the mental noise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can be really helpful for reducing stress, improving focus, and connecting with your intuition.
Intuition. Okay, that's another one of those words that gets thrown around a lot. But like, what does it actually mean?
Well, it's basically that inner voice that guides you, that gut feeling that tells you what's right for you.
So it's like a built-in compass.
Exactly. And the more you meditate, the more you can tune in to that inner guide.
Okay, so we've got journaling meditation. What else can we do to support this whole manifesting process?
Well, the video also talks about the importance of our external environment.
Our environment. So like the people we surround ourselves with, the places we go, all that.
Exactly. Because all of that can have a huge impact on our energy and our mindset.
So if you're hanging out with negative people all the time, that's not going to help.
Not at all. It's like trying to grow a flower in a toxic wasteland.
Right. It needs the right conditions to thrive.
Exactly. So it's about being mindful of the energy you're allowing into your life, surrounding yourself with positive people, uplifting content, and creating a space that feels good to be in.
So it's like creating a sanctuary for your soul.
Exactly. And then finally, the video talks about the importance of self-talk.
Self-talk. Oh, yeah, that little voice in our heads that can be so mean sometimes.
Exact. But we have the power to change that voice. To start speaking to ourselves with kindness and encouragement.
It's like we're the DJs of our own minds, choosing the soundtrack of our lives.
I love that. And remember, this is a journey, not a destination. You're going to have ups and downs.
There will be days when you feel like you're killing it and days when you feel like you're failing miserably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the key is to keep practicing, keep learning, and keep growing.
It's like learning to ride a bike. You're going to fall a few times, but eventually you'll find your balance.
Exactly. And the more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
This has been such an amazing deep dive. It's like our minds are this incredible tool that we're just starting to understand.
It's true. And the more we learn about the power of our minds, the more we can create the lives we truly desire.
Exactly. So let's keep exploring, let's keep experimenting, and let's keep manifesting our dreams.
Absolutely. The possibilities are endless.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And until next time, keep those minds open and those possibilities flowing.